Think back to your high school graduation. You're wearing that heavy, slightly itchy gown, you have the diploma in your hand, and you feel like you can conquer the world. But then, 2 months later, you're standing in the middle of a grocery store staring at your bank account on your phone, and you realize you have absolutely no idea how to calculate taxes, cook a healthy meal for under $5, or handle a conflict with a roommate. Why is it that we spent years learning about the Pythagorean theorem, but nobody taught us how to actually live?
Oh, Josh, you're hitting a nerve already. I remember that feeling so vividly. I could explain the entire French Revolution in 3 languages, but I didn't know how to change a tire or negotiate my first salary. Welcome, everyone, to Radio English. I'm Carla.
And I'm Josh. Today, we are opening a very big, very complicated can of worms. We're talking about the hidden curriculum. There's essential life skills that schools somehow always seem to skip.
This is a B1 to B2 level episode. So for our intermediate and upper intermediate listeners, get ready. We're going to be using some natural phrasal verbs, common idioms, and a lot of descriptive language. We aren't just here to teach you grammar. We're here to help you talk about real life.
Exactly. We've got a massive show for you today. We're going to spend the first half diving into our own failures after school, the moments where we realized our education had some serious gaps.
And stick around because later, we're going to explore what a dream school would actually look like. If we could go back and change the curriculum, what would be the first thing to stay and what would be the first thing to go?
It's going to be a long, deep conversation, so pull up a chair, hopefully a comfortable one, not one of those hard plastic school chairs, and let's get started. This is Radio English.
You know, Josh, when I think about what school didn't teach me, I think about my first apartment in London. I was 21. It was this tiny, cramped studio. The walls were painted a very depressing shade of eggshell that was peeling off in the corners.
The classic first apartment aesthetic. I can smell the dampness from here.
It really was. It had that specific smell, a mix of old dust, cheap cleaning products, and my neighbor's constant cooking of onions. But the real problem wasn't the smell. It was the adulting. I remember sitting on the floor because I didn't have a sofa yet, just a pile of cushions, and I was looking at a pile of mail. There was a bell for something called council tax.
Oh, the dreaded council tax. That's a welcome to adulthood slap in the face if I'm ever heard one.
Josh, I stared at that paper for an hour. It was thick white paper with very official-looking blue ink. I felt so small. I had spent years studying Shakespeare, and I could tell you all about Hamlet's internal conflict, but looking at this tax bill, I felt like I was reading a foreign language. I didn't know how to pay it. I didn't know if the amount was right, and I was terrified I would go to jail because I didn't understand the document.
It's crazy, isn't it? We're taught how to pass exams, but we aren't taught how to navigate the systems we live in. My moment of realization was a bit different. It was about communication.
Really? But you're so outgoing. You're a natural talker.
Now, maybe. But when I got my first real office job, I was a mess. I remember my first big meeting. I can still see the room. A long glass table that was so polished I could see my own nervous expression in the reflection. The air conditioning was humming quietly, and everyone had these sleek silver laptops.
Very professional, very intimidating.
Exactly, and there was a conflict. 2 of my senior managers were disagreeing about a project. The tension in the room was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I sat there gripping my pen so hard my knuckles were white. I realized in school, if you have a problem, you go to the teacher. But in the real world, you have to manage difficult people and office politics.
And there is no conflict resolution 101 class in high school.
None. I just sat there like a statue. I had no tools to speak up or to help bridge the gap between those 2 people. I knew the history of the world, but I didn't know how to handle a tense room. I ended up just staring at my notebook, drawing little squares in the margin of the paper, wishing I was anywhere else. The paper was slightly yellow and felt grainy under my pen. I can still feel that feeling of being unprepared for human behavior.
It's that gap between academic knowledge and social intelligence. I had a similar struggle with something even more basic: food.
Wait, school didn't teach you to cook? What about home economics?
Oh, we had one class where we made a fruit salad. Josh, a fruit salad is just cutting things. That isn't cooking. When I moved out, I survived on toast and cereal for 3 months. I remember one night I tried to make a simple pasta sauce. I was standing in my tiny kitchen, the light was flickering, and I was trying to read a recipe on my phone.
How did it go?
I burnt the garlic in the first 30 seconds. The smell was acrid and sharp. My eyes were watering. I didn't know how to saute or simmer. I was 22 years old and I felt like a failure because I couldn't feed myself properly. I ended up eating a bowl of plain, overcooked pasta that tasted like cardboard. It was a very lonely, very boring dinner. I remember thinking, why did I spend 3 years learning about the chemical structure of a leaf, but I don't know how to season a tomato sauce?
It's that feeling of being book smart, but life stupid. I think everyone knows someone like that, or like us, everyone has been that person at some point.
Definitely. And it's not just about the big things like taxes or cooking. It's the soft skills, empathy, time management, emotional regulation. I remember my schedule was so rigid. A bell rang, you moved. Another bell rang, you ate.
It was like being in a factory.
Exactly. The environment was so controlled. Then you get to university or a job, and suddenly you have 8 hours of free time and 5 projects due. I remember sitting at my desk, this old wooden desk that wobbled every time I typed, and I just felt paralyzed. The silence of my room was louder than the school bells. I didn't know how to prioritize. I would spend 3 hours choosing a font for a report and 0 hours actually writing the content.
I've been there, the procrastination trap. We were taught to follow a schedule, but we aren't taught how to create one for ourselves. We were taught to be students, but we weren't taught to be self-starters.
It's a huge gap, and I think it contributes to a lot of the burnout we see today. We enter the real world, and we're suddenly playing a game where we don't know any of the rules. We're just trying to figure it out as we go, and it's exhausting.
It really is. I remember the feeling of my first tax season. The sun was shining outside, people were playing in the park, and I was stuck inside, surrounded by piles of crumpled receipts in confusing forms. The paper felt cold and overwhelming. I felt like I was failing a test that I didn't even know I was taking.
That's the perfect way to put it. A test you didn't know you were taking.
Well, listeners, we've shared our horror stories of life after school, but now we want to move from the problems to the solutions. What should have been in those textbooks instead?
Stay tuned because in part 2, we're going to do a deep dive into the ideal curriculum. We're also going to have our vocabulary spotlight to help you describe your own education.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We just finished sharing our growing pains, but now let's get into the nitty-gritty. If we were the ministers of education, Josh, what would the Radio English Academy actually teach?
Oh, I've been waiting for this. First on the list, financial literacy. And I don't mean high-level economics. I mean the magic of compound interest and how to not panic when you see a credit card statement.
Yes. Imagine a classroom where instead of calculating the volume of a sphere, you're calculating how much a Starbucks coffee every day actually cost you over 10 years. You're sitting at a desk, looking at a spreadsheet on a screen, and suddenly you realize, wait, that's a down payment on a house.
Exactly. It's about making the abstract concrete. And what about emotional intelligence? We should be teaching kids how to identify a panic attack versus just feeling stressed. I want a class where we sit in a circle on beanbags, not hard chairs, and we talk about the psychology of rejection.
That's brilliant, because everyone experiences rejection, whether it's a job or a crush, but we're taught to just get over it. We should learn the tools to process it. It's about resilience.
Resilience, that's a power word right there. It's the ability to bounce back.
Oh, wait, Josh, your phone is vibrating. Is that Pierre again?
No, oh wait, it's a scam call. Let me put it on speaker for a second. Sound of a mechanical voice. This is the tax office. You owe $5,000. Please pay in gift cards immediately.
Perfect timing.
Hang up, there we go. That is exactly what I'm talking about. If schools taught critical thinking for the digital age, nobody would fall for the pay your taxes and gift cards trick. We are taught to trust textbooks, but we aren't taught to fact check a random phone call or a TikTok video.
It's so true. We need media literacy. We're swimming in a sea of information, and most of us are just treading water, trying not to drown in fake news and scams.
Before we move to the conclusion, let's slow down for our vocabulary spotlight. We've used some heavy-hitting B2 language today.
Let's start with adulting. It's a very common, slightly informal way to describe the act of doing grown-up things like paying bills or buying a vacuum cleaner. I'm not very good at adulting today. I just want to eat ice cream for dinner.
I love that one. How about nitty-gritty? I used it earlier. It means the most basic, important, or practical details of a subject. Let's stop talking about the big ideas and get down to the nitty-gritty of the budget.
Another great one we used was resilience. As we said, it's your ability to recover quickly from difficulties. She showed great resilience after losing her job. She started a new business a month later.
And we can't forget to bridge the gap. I mentioned this during my story about the office meeting. It means to reduce the differences between two things or groups. The new school program is trying to bridge the gap between academic theory and practical skills.
Let's look at acrid. I use this to describe the smell of my burnt garlic. It means a smell or taste that is unpleasantly sharp and biting. It's a very sensory word. The acrid smoke from the fire made it hard to breathe.
Use these words in your daily life, listeners. Don't just learn them, own them.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from burnt pasta to scam calls.
Let's summarize the 5 key learning points.
Point 1, academic knowledge is important, but life skills are the foundation of your well-being. Don't feel bad if you're still figuring it out.
Point 2, financial literacy is a superpower. Start looking at the nitty-gritty of your money now.
Point 3, soft skills like communication and conflict resolution are often more valuable in the workplace than your GPA.
Point 4, critical thinking is your best defense. In a world of scam calls and misinformation, always ask why.
And point 5, it's never too late to learn what school missed. You are the principal of your own adulting academy now.
For your homework this week, look at your life and identify one gap. What is one thing you wish you had learned in school? Is it how to invest, how to fix a leaky faucet, how to meditate?
Go to our YouTube channel, Radio English, find this video and write your answer in the comments. We want to hear what your dream subject would be.
And while you're there, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us grow this community of lifelong learners.
Don't forget to activate the notifications. Click that little bell. That way, you'll be the first to know when we release our next masterclass.
If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who is currently struggling with their council tax or burnt pasta.
Thanks for listening to Radio English. Remember, the world is your classroom.
Stay curious, stay resilient, and keep practicing.
See you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.